You see this good?
Yeah, we are live.
Oh, are we? Dang.
We are live. Sunday
Sunny
leftover.
leftovers. Okay. I know it's not sunny leftovers unless you do a fist bump,
Yeah.
Right.
It's part of the brand.
right?
We were working on that for so many months.
Yeah.
Like, let's try to find
A thing
a thing. Yeah,
that'll be our own.
yeah.
Right.
So Sunday leftovers is
A fist bump.
this one.
Is it signing on, signing off? Also,
Super creative,
12 o'clock, so perfect on time.
as always.
That's great. It's great. So we look forward to your comments today. But listen, sunny leftovers is what did we come away with from yesterday? Sunday.
from Sunday.
From Sunday, day before.
Well, you
I know.
you preached
I know.
last Sunday, and as I told you so many times, I really enjoy the all the things that you had to share with us. Was a very interesting approaching for a very known story.
That's yeah. It was. It's difficult to find a story like that everybody who grew up in church like us knows,
Yes.
and then try to peel it back a little bit and go, okay, what's really going on here? You know, what am I seeing with a new lens? And I think we kind of did that a little bit. I mean, we heard from folks that were sitting in the room.
Okay, so you have some interaction.
Yeah. We asked, what did people
Oh yeah. I remember that.
right?
I remember that.
What did people think of the woman, and based on past observations and reading the story again, and it was pretty clear that people's thoughts of the woman were like mine, that she was promiscuous,
Right.
that she was less than. She was, there in the middle of the day, in the heat of the day, when most of the other people come in the cool of the day. And, we were talking about in staff meeting 2 hours ago, about that we don't really have context for that. We don't know. We aren't told that in the scriptures.
In the text, yeah, it's not there.
Yeah. So one of the things Jason brought up to me this morning, and I thought it was interesting, was basically that this woman was a caricature of everything less than.
Okay.
Like to a Jewish person,
Right.
to a Jewish teacher. She was seemingly uneducated. She was
Well, she was a she.
She was a she.
Yeah.
She was nameless.
Yeah.
She was not a Jew. She was a Samaritan.
Right.
She had all these husbands that we don't
All
really,
the husbands that are allowed in life.
right.
Yes.
That we don't really know anything about. And so what is it about that caricature that has led us to believe that she was us, maybe,
Right. Yeah.
that we should somehow relate to her in our sin, in our depravity, I don't know.
Which is interesting for me is like, and we already talked about this in staff meeting, that Johannine community that produces this gospel was from the north. So for me, the lady, that woman, is a symbol of that community. It's a community from the north that is willing to take all of that burden, but as soon as they encounter with Jesus, they're willing to go and preach to everywhere, which is the
In
thing
in contrast to Nicodemus,
yeah,
who was educated,
Yeah.
who was Jew, he had everything,
yeah,
So I find that inspiring to me. So as I said at the end of the sermon, maybe I want to be more like her. If I was to take one of the two, who am I going to be like? Am I going to be like Nicodemus, or am I going to be like the woman at the well? I find her story more compelling.
right.
So yeah, I think it was a good Sunday. I think some of the stuff on the cutting room floor. We talked about maybe our own I said depravity a minute ago, but I was asking Jason and Caesar here, what is it about us that wants to project negativity on females? Maybe not us, maybe not us three.
No, I need to confess, I struggle with that all the time.
Yeah,
Because of my context, because of the way I was raised.
right.
So it's like there's an instinct to blame, not just in my case, not just female, but other people.
Yeah,
It's like my first reaction, and I fight with that all the time. I mean, when I say I fight with that all the time, it's like immediately as soon as I realize that I'm projecting to other people, okay,
right,
this is me. This is me. Okay.
right.
But you're right. There's so many people, so
Yeah.
many males
Right.
projecting.
Yeah, and I
negativity
think
to
Sarah,
females.
I think Sarah's song that she sang immediately following that was pretty eye-opening too, because there was one line in it, and I can't remember exactly, but basically that all of the ills, all of the problems that she's faced, that she's then manifested in her life and cast on other people, were basically words written by men. So we're taking these words written by men, we're taking these sermons preached by men, and we then and I'm, like I said, like you said, I'm guilty too. I grew up in that system, and I was the recipient of all the accolades. I was the strong male leader. I was the head of my household. I was
Right.
everything. And as long as you fell in line, now there's responsibility with that. Maybe it causes some men to crack. Once their image, their whatever is tarnished. But we were the beneficiaries of that male-dominated culture and teaching.
It's weird. Just for you to know, we don't talk about the series that we are about to develop in our different communities. I mean, ANC, our Amor Original, and which is interesting for me is that I'm starting also a series talking about women in the Bible, especially in relationship with Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And it is so interesting that just the thing that you already said now, I almost said the same thing last Sunday, that religion, I grew up in a specific denominational context. I was from the Assemblies of God.
Right.
Religion for males was way different than the same religion, same denomination for women. It's different. Even we face the same issues, the same doctrine, the same everything, but it was different because it was a man.
Yeah.
I was in a different position of privilege.
Right.
That happened in Latin America. I'm assuming that also happened here in the States.
Yeah.
And when I reflect on that, I immediately see that we have so much work to do as a church, as individuals, to change that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so much of the heavy lifting in church is done by women.
Yeah.
That's reflected at ANC. Where we look out and we probably have 75% of the folks that come to ANC are women,
Right.
and 75% of our board is comprised of women.
Right.
And they are the ones that kind of shoulder the load.
Yeah, they have
And
the
so-
stamina and
exactly.
and the vision too. I mean, they are not just workers. They
No.
they envision things for the
Right,
church.
right.
And it's great.
Right. And those voices, how do we eliminate how have we eliminated those voices for so long in the church? It's to our shame. Speaking of shame, that's something to be shameful about, because we've eliminated the most powerful, the most
Committed people.
committed people to the vision of the church from leading I think of other denominations that we are the beneficiary of people coming from other denominations, and I think of denominations that the women are not allowed stage time or presence in any. I guess Assemblies of God might be an exception to that, because I know of
We have pastors, female pastors.
right,
Yeah.
as does the Methodist Church.
Yeah.
So
But you just say the word. You say talking about shame, and one of the things, very interesting things about the story that you taught last Sunday is that Jesus, even though it seems like he has all the cards in his hands to play also that card, the shame card,
right,
he didn't.
No.
He didn't say basically anything
right,
wrong about this lady. It seems like we are eager to find wrong things to say in Bible stories when Jesus is not pointing at those things.
right, yep, yeah. And one of the lines I think I had in my notes, and I believe I said it, and I think it's true, is that Jesus, according to the woman, told her everything she'd ever done. But he did that not to shame her, but to tell her who he was, for her to see who Jesus was, and not to shame her for anything, any of the position she found herself in. So I think that was
Oh my
pretty.
goodness, that's so hard for evangelical churches.
Yeah.
It's so hard, like to share love, compassion, all of that without shame.
Yeah,
It's like I need to use shame first in order to make the softer the ground. I don't know, but it's like we use shame all the time.
yeah. I don't know. I came away from that, and it was not surprising to me that I heard from women after the sermon that just felt empowered and felt loved and felt grateful to reclassify the narrative on that story.
Right.
I don't know that I'd never heard that taught. I'd never seen that, because I had just listened to the narrative that I was taught previously. So anyway, it was good to hear from the ladies that were in the room, from some of you online. Joy, you messaged me on Messenger, and so I found it great, and it coupled really well with Sarah Dossie's song that she did right after the sermon. So anyway,
Right.
yeah,
It was a very nice sermon.
it was good.
Yeah, it was very good.
I was happy with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was Sunday Leftovers.
Sunday leftovers. Thanks for doing
Mark.
it, Caesar. Yep. Bye.